Hey guys, this is Joanna White. I'm here with a video, and I've decided to do a different schedule on my YouTube channel, which you can find that on the description. And so this is Wednesday, so I'm doing Wattpad Wednesdays. There's a lot of people who want to know how to get a lot of votes and comments, and there's a bug. It's pretty big, actually. Anyways, there's a lot of people on Wattpad who want to know how to get a lot of votes and comments and reads on their stories and everything else. And so I figured I'd do a video about tips and tricks and things on how you can get your story popular on Wattpad. First of all, every person is different, and it really takes a lot of dedication, and it takes a lot of time, and it takes a lot of patience. So if you're not someone to wait and wait and wait for a while and to really do it in the long run and reap the benefits of it, so to speak, a couple years down the road, then it's going to be really hard for you. I had to learn that myself. I am not a very patient person, so I had to learn this the hard way. First of all, it's going to take time. Not all the time, because there have been several people who started their books on Wattpad and they got super popular within like a month, but I'm just warning you that if that doesn't happen to you, don't worry. You still have a chance. Everybody has a chance. So obviously, one of the best ways that I've discovered to get your stories popular is actually to just genuinely make relationships on Wattpad and friendships that you have with people. Search books that are in your genre and sincerely read them, sincerely comment and vote on their stories, and when you do that, people are more than likely to read yours. Don't spam them, and the cat is scratching me. Don't beg for votes. Don't ask them to read your story. Don't advertise your story on theirs, because that is very, very rude, and that upsets a lot of people. I mean, how would you like it if, somebody came on your story and instead of talking about your story or, giving you a compliment or something or feedback, they promoted their own story on there. So try not to do that. It's kind of disrespectful. Also, the second way to make friendships is on the Wattpad Clubs. That's the best way. They have all kinds of clubs. It's only available on the web, so if you're on the app, you can't do this, but I would highly suggest doing it. You can probably use your phone and get on Chrome and actually do the web part of it and still be able to get on there. They're basically discussion boards, and each section, each club has several threads that you can do, and when you do that, there are all kinds of threads for all kinds of different subjects. If you need help staying motivated, if you're stuck with a plot line, you can ask people to help you think of ideas. You can even buy characters from other people. If you're an artist, you can sell your cover. Or if you're a trailer maker, you can do that. And that's another good way to get reads and votes, is to make covers or trailers for people, because you can demand payments from that. And once you make their cover or their trailer especially, they'll read your story or whatever in exchange for the trailer or the cover that you made them. So I would suggest doing that as well, although I'm not an artist, so that's kind of out of the picture, out of the thing for me. You can also get help making synopsises. Next is make sure your book is very clean. There's a lot of people on Wattpad who have terrible grammar and everything else, because a lot of, these are just new writers or people who do writing as a hobby and stuff. But, and even those stories can be popular sometimes, which, I mean, it's a free site, so you can, what are you going to do? But that's kind of sets you apart if your story is very clean, if there's no syntax errors, which by syntax I mean grammar, punctuation, sentence structure, run-on sentences. Run-on sentences drive me nuts, so put periods and commas and proper punctuation, please. But a good way of doing that is Grammarly. That has they have a free plan, so if you can't afford it, you can go on there and it'll fix all your mistakes and stuff. And when you download it, it'll actually automatically do that when you're on Wattpad in the make your new chapter part. It'll check it. That's what I've actually recently started doing. So that's another way of doing it. Make sure you have a really catchy title. Make sure the title has to do with your story theme and your story and what it is. Usually titles have meanings, so don't just randomly throw out a title there. Make sure it has meanings. It's really nice. A cover is probably the biggest thing too, that will attract people to your story, because as many times as we don't want to admit it, we judge books by there's something in the woods. That's kind of creepy. It's probably a deer, but oh well. Anyways, we judge books by their covers. And so if your cover isn't professional looking, it's probably not going to get a lot of attention and stuff as somebody who looks more professional. The best way of doing that is going on the forums and, like I mentioned before, requesting a cover from an artist. They can do that, and the payments usually, I don't mean money, I mean, you read your story, you give them a dedication, or you give them credit, or you follow them permanently, or something like that. But the problem with that is, though, that most people don't use copyright-free images. So if you're a professional writer on here and you want to publish your books and you want to actually get a cover that would be copyright-free, you'd probably have to do it yourself. That's what I did, and so that's why my covers didn't always look professional, but to me it's more important to have copyright-free images, at least for the stories that are going to be published and everything. There's several sites you can do where they have free pictures and stuff that you can use. One of the best ones is called, what's the cat? One of the best ones is called Upwork or Upload or something like that. I'll put the link in the description. And that's where basically professional photographers put their pictures on there for free, and there's no watermark in it, so it looks really good and stuff like that. I would suggest doing that unless you just you don't care about the copyright on it, because if you're just doing a story on Wattpad, you don't have to worry about the copyright, so that's the main thing. Secondly, I don't even know what number I'm on, but another way of getting votes and reads and stuff like that is your tags on your story. Make sure that the tags are relevant. Don't just randomly tag your story in something that has nothing to do with your book. But like if your book is a fantasy, you could tag it in fantasy. Say it's a werewolf book, so you could also tag werewolves. If it involves teenagers and it's kind of one of those teen werewolf ones, I would tag teen. And also look at what tags are trending right now and tag your story with those if they're relevant, because that's another great way of people finding your story, and that's the way that people find your story. So you want to tag it with relevant tags and stuff. I think you can have up to 25 tags, so really utilize them. I mean, you should probably use pretty close to or all 20 or 25 tags in it. So that's another way of doing it, of getting votes and reads and everything else. Really building up the hype when you start a new story, messaging people, maybe mentioning, hey, I'm starting a new book, blah, 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 asking them for ideas or whatever, making trailers for it beforehand, really making online posters. There's poster apps that you can get, posting to your profile and stuff like that. Those are a great way to really build up the hype for a new book, and then when it starts out, when you launch it, it'll be really good. Promoting it on social media when you already have your book out. That is the cat's tail right behind me. We named him Chubby, but he's actually not as chubby like he used to be, so he's our outside cat. So if his tail flicks, it's just the cat. Anyways, and so promote it on Wattpad on your profile. People don't normally read the Wattpad profile statuses like they used to, so I mean, you can do that if you want to. I still do, just because I like doing it, but it's not actually probably going to help you very much because nobody really reads those, but you can still try. So I would suggest posting it to your regular social media, like Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, whatever you want. Making quotes on Wattpad, because Wattpad has this thing where you can do a picture and make a quote, or you can make your own and get pictures off Google, whatever, but making a quote from your book and then posting it on Instagram and Pinterest and tagging like Wattpad and stuff like that. That's in fantasy and books, whatever genre you are, not just fantasy. That's another great way to start promoting your book and getting the word out there and stuff. So and making relationships is kind of the big thing on Wattpad, like not just being friends with somebody and, oh, maybe they'll read my book, maybe they'll read my book, not begging people to read your book either. They have there are contests, so I would suggest entering your book in a contest, because that's a great way, because not only will the people who are judging your book read it, and obviously to judge it, but there are other people who might be interested in it, especially if you win. Winning a lot of contests, that's the number one way I think that some of the popular stories on Wattpad have really gotten up there, is because they win a lot of contests, and people are like, oh, if they won a contest, hey, that means the story is really good. Another way is book clubs on Wattpad. You can find them all over. You can search it. They're actually books on Wattpad. But basically, there's a bunch of people, and you all agree to read so many books in a certain amount of time, and so you get assigned like 5 books and stuff like that. So you'll have to read other people's stories, but there will be like that many people reading your own story and giving you feedback and talking about it and stuff like that. So that's another great way to start. And then through that, you can become friends with these people and start building friendships and relationships sincerely and everything else. So But those are just some of the tips that I've experienced in my own way. It's not going to happen overnight. I mean, for a long time, my books only had like one reader, and then it had two, and those two readers meant so much to me, and they would comment on every chapter, and it just, finding one or two sincere friends and sincere loyal readers is more important to me than having millions of reads and stuff, and especially like with trollers and things like that. So I think it's more important to have loyal readers and stuff, and start building your fan base and stuff. So it's going to take time. I mean, I think I developed like for me, reaching 100 reads was a big deal, and I think I did that in a couple of months. It took a while. So every read counts, and especially when you're like a new writer, and when you know you have a good story, it's just really hard to get out there. And also, don't just focus on Wattpad. I love Wattpad. It's amazing. It's great. Books are free, wonderful, but start branching yourself out, especially if you're serious about writing, and try to utilize all things and programs and things that you have. And I mean, it's really easy to put a book on Amazon, create space as an ebook. It's really easy to publish it in print, and you can do it for free, and they walk you through the process, and it's completely free, and then your book's out there, and you can make 99 cents or however much you want to charge for your book really easy. It's harder to market your book and get the word out there, but promoting it on Wattpad and stuff is a good way of doing that. But don't just stick with Wattpad if you're serious about writing. Branch out, utilize every tool that you have at your disposal, and try your best to just get out there and stick with it. Don't give up. That's the most important thing. It takes a lot of time, dedication, and patience, and just stick with it and stay encouraged. And you know that you're a good writer. You know that you can always improve. Every writer can improve, even the really popular ones, even the really popular ones, even the ones that aren't really that good. Everybody can improve. Even the really good ones can still improve. Even professional ones can still improve. So don't give up. You can always improve your writing. It just takes time. It takes dedication. It takes patience. You can do this. Don't give up. Write what you're passionate about. That's another big thing. Don't just write a book because it's the popular genre, or because everyone, yes, that may get a lot of reads, but it's not going to be worth it if you're not writing what you're passionate about. So stick with it. Write what you're passionate about. Never give up. Thank you, and I'm glad you guys decided to watch. So thank you.